Hi, welcome to learnhowtogarden.com, and in today's episode of the 10-Minute Gardener I'm going to be talking to you about some of the tomato varieties that have a very peculiar habit of growing extensions once they've set fruit on the end of their fruit trusses. If you're not already subscribed to me at learnhowtogarden.com, there's a link directly above this film. Hop over there, input your email address. It means I can let you know every single time I do a new film. It also means I can let you have access to my monthly newsletter. I'm in my polytunnel. It's the 27th of July 2013, and as you can see, we have tomatoes. This is Bottom Door from Simpson Seeds. It's one of the orange mini varieties, always one of the first to ripen for me. I like it, it's very sweet, it's really tasty. And always remember, if you have arthritis, there's less lipocene in the actual orange or green or purple tomatoes. Therefore, it's actually much better for you. You don't get as many problems. I know a lot of people with arthritis steer clear of tomatoes because of how it makes them feel. Just next to it, you can see the very, very first of the rosada, which are the mini plums starting to turn red. I'm hoping we can get that on the camera. What you can't see is through the back, one of the very big Coeur de Buis from Simpsons, no it's not, it's actually from Seeds of Italy, is starting to form. But what this film is really about today is this. Look at this mess. I've left this especially to show you. The plant here has been defoliated. It's had its lower leaves taken off once the truss starts to set tomatoes and ripen. What we have here is green zebra, and what happens here is, if you focus in, once the plant sets tomatoes, the end of it, for some inexplicable reason, then continues to grow and set more tomatoes. In the wild, this would scramble. It would be a scrambling, uncontrolled vine. And what it's trying to do is be a scrambling, uncontrolled vine. From here, all of this, even though it's got tomatoes on, is just taking energy from the main plant. And if you allow this to grow, you're going to end up with this uncontrolled mess, which is what I have here, which we are now trying to get back under control. Here's a fantastic example at the bottom. That was growing off the end of there, stopping these tomatoes ripening, taking energy away from the plant, and making the actual husbandry of your plant really difficult. Because if air can't get around the tomatoes, what you'll find very, very quickly is you're going to end up with a lot of rot and a lot of problems. So where these are sticking out, get them off. They're very similar to when you get a shoot growing out of the leaf axis. Remember, we are thrusting architecture onto this tomato. It's not just being allowed to grow, we are determining how it grows. That's why it's called a determinate tomato. We determine how tall it gets. I mean, there's another one here I've left to show you. If you don't get those side shoots off, look how quickly that grows. But look, while it's taking all the energy, these tomatoes aren't growing. It needs to be off. Some of them will snap off, others you might need to snip off. If you wonder what I'm using, this is a really handy gadget from Hill & Son. They were developed for flower cutting. They've got a great little hole here, serrated blade, stops things slipping. And if you're a flower grower, you can crush the end of the stems as well. Really, really useful bit of kit. But you can see quite quickly you've got all of this on the floor, which is taking up energy from a plant that will now start to produce much, much better. So any of those side shoots, once they've got to the point where they have tomatoes setting on them, That's where you want to stop them. If it starts to grow out of the tomato truss, take it off. One last time, truss of tomatoes. It looks like a little knuckle there. Gone. No point. We're growing it for the tomatoes. You have got to work through these. Again, this shows you how quickly you can get a side shoot, how big it will get. These have been left about a week to show you. It's much easier showing you this than the little one that big, isn't it? And that is what you need to do when they're growing out the end. I'll just show you some tomatoes growing in a grow bag to show you that it's not just the ones here. This was just to show you that it's not just Bondor that's fruiting. This is Matt's Wild Cherry, also from Simpson Seeds. Covered, absolutely covered with lots of beautiful little red, very sweet tomatoes. And to show you the difference, this again is Coeur de Buis. These are growing in a Koya grow bag as an experiment. Even though they're fed, they look very pale. They don't look particularly well to me. I'm going to give them more potash, but I'm not sure about these Koya grow bags. Behind me is one of the San Marizanos, also in this experiment with the Koya grow bags, and you can see that has blossom end rot on it at the end. Whereas the San Marizanos growing in the way that I normally grow them over here, and we'll show you those in just a second, are looking fantastic. The strange thing on the set of steps, this shouldn't be here really, this is to show you this is real gardening. These are cucamelons. Now, I've grown cucamelons before, and I'm growing them in my mum's greenhouse for her, and I let them climb up. I've grown them in the ground, and they take a while before they flower. Well, this one was, it's been grown from a friend in a pot, and I just left it. I forgot about it. I've been away for a couple of weeks. And it's cascading down. And for some strange reason, and there's another one behind it doing the same, when they cascade down, they are covered in cucamelons. So I think that it might be one of those things, this cucamelon, that would grow fantastically well in a hanging basket. And I've said before in another film, they're delish really. They're like a cucumber with a bit of a zing. They're not sour. The Mexicans call them Mexican sour gherkins. I think that's when they must get infinitely bigger, they get sour. But not at this. So I will be growing these again, hanging down. Excuse the weeds, there's some Chinese chives popping around in the background, but it just shows you sometimes when you don't have enough time and things get out of hand, things benefit from it. And last but not least, my San Marizanos. These are from Seeds of Italy. This is the San Marizano 2, or this is the specialist variety. This is what gets me through the winter. Nowhere near ripe yet, but these are beautiful things to grow. On your tomatoes for next year, this should be the one that you're thinking about if you want to dry them, put them in oil, or save them. Looking healthy, looking happy. If you wonder what the little one here is, again, I do like to try different things. This is Smador. This is one of the new bush varieties, which is supposed to be blight resistant. And I'm growing it in a tiny pot, and it's already got some great tomatoes coming on it. You have to keep experimenting. You have to keep pushing the boundaries and trying. And behind me, this beauty, growing between the tomatoes, this is lettuce leaf basil. Slightly more licoricey taste than the one you'd use for pesto. This is, I would say, a halfway house between Thai basil and the classic pesto basil. Beautiful with goat's cheese. Great, just sort of on a wrap. I tend to have this with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise on a wrap. Divine, again, Seeds of Italy. Thanks a lot for watching our tomato update. As I said, any of the ones that have got anything coming out the end of the truss, get it off, just like the side shoots. Get the energy into these beauties. Defoliate up to the truss with the tomatoes on. We'll be back in a month where no doubt these will all be looking like absolute scarlet beauties, and I'll be salivating while I speak.